Hey, hey, Facebook, how are you? It is Lori Hoy here. I am just trying to make sure that my Wi Fi is going to be working all right today. Anyway, it has been quite some time since I've come on here live, but I have a special topic that I want to talk about tonight. And I'm just going to wait a few minutes until I see Dr. Fawn come on. She is, it's Wellness Wednesday. This is a reoccurring thing that we try to do, barring any life events that get in the way or other things like that. So our mission, I guess, or I'll speak about my mission. My mission is to basically come here, hopefully give you some worthwhile content, make you think. Maybe give you a message that you need to hear, even though maybe you didn't realize you needed to hear it. And just generally help people become healthier and happier every single day. So tonight, oh, there she is. Let me add her on. Hello. It says it's adding, Fawn, so there you are.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good.
My thing is bouncy. Okay.
All right, so I'm hoping that I wear my earbuds in here because this room kind of echoes. I don't know why. There's carpet, there's a bed in here. It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, you know what? Now I don't even know what I titled this. It kind of just left my brain.
Something about acceptance.
Yeah, what do you accept? That's what I titled this.
Yeah,
Hi,
okay,
Erin. And Dr. Fawn and I'll say to you, Dr. Fawn, before you came on, I was just sharing a little bit about what I feel my mission is when I come in here live. And I thought I'd give you the opportunity to share what you think your mission is when you come in here live, either by yourself or with me or whatnot. So I don't want to steal your thunder. So I figured I'd let you do that.
Well, then my mission is probably similar to yours. I did not hear yours. So, but I know that I myself have been on a journey over the past, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years to become healthier, happier, get a more positive mindset, and that I've learned so much from so many awesome, amazing mentors that I just want to be able to bring it to other people as well. And I know that many people know my story of that I'm no longer sick thanks to the food I eat, and that is something that I love to be able to share with people. Not just that stuff though, because there's so many more elements to it. A lot of people think it's just, oh, she ate healthy and she got better, but it wasn't just eating. It was taking care of my body and exercising and getting adjusted chiropractic wise, and controlling my mindset and my stress. And that's what I'm here for. I love to be able to help other people discover that for themselves, because I know that it is so helpful and for any aspect of life. And that's what I know you're here for too. And that's why we get along so well.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's crazy. I think everybody knows what they're supposed to do. We all can sit down and with a friend who says they want to do this, this, and this. And so we ask those questions to get them to dig a little bit deeper. And they already know, they have the tools. They know exactly what they need to do, but sometimes they just can't get themselves moving forward. And so that's what I think you and I both try to do in our own separate ways. But anyway, let's get back to the topic of tonight. And this is something that that I actually experience on a regular basis in my job as a teacher. Now, before I go into any other talk about it, I just wanted to preface this whole conversation of this is not a political statement. I don't want it to turn into a political conversation. I mean, I wore a special shirt tonight because I feel like it says more love, less hate, right?
Love it.
I don't want it to be political. It's just a conversation. It's something that I do deal with as a teacher on a regular basis. But I also know that I have to keep names private. I can't, so this is going to be a very general conversation. And I'm sure it can be addressed in the workplace. It can be addressed in schools, anywhere, in your own home, probably. These types of things, these type of acceptance issues that we're going to talk about. So basically, I'm probably going to talk a lot more than Dr. Fawn. I'm just going to say, because I talk a lot. And she, we talked about what we wanted to bring to you tonight. And this was something that actually happened. The situation that happened that I wanted to share. And I felt, I know she could lend her insight as a physician and someone who deals with the public on a regular basis. So, so recently there was a situation where, I don't want to do this without being specific. And I actually even just posted on Instagram. I have no notes. I don't have an outline for this because it's just something that it needs to be a conversation. There was a situation where there was someone different that didn't sound like the rest of us, that didn't maybe walk like the rest of us, or didn't talk like the rest of us, or didn't even look like the rest of us. Mm-hmm. And there was some comments made by some other individuals that was really, and they weren't adults. I'll put it that way. Okay. They weren't adults. It was a situation where it was about an adult. Okay. But the comments that were made were not from adults. Are you getting me? Does it make sense? And it was a situation where I felt I had to address immediately. And only because it made me, and I used the word sad, and sad isn't even the right word. I used the word disappointed. That wasn't even the right word. And I felt as an educator of children, I feel like I'm an educator of adults as well, that I just wanted to come in here and have this conversation about acceptance. And right now in our political world, which, like I said, don't want to go into politics, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of, on a daily basis, news reports about bullying or of anything of that nature. And we all probably have had situations in our life where we felt that we were treated unkindly. I know I have. I know a specific grade. I know the girl's name. I remember what she said. I remember what she had the rest of the kids do. So it stays with you forever, right? It's not something that goes away. And as far as if you are on the receiving end, if you are someone that never did experience that, then you may want to take a look at possibly you were the person. And I'm not saying that you were, but possibly you were the person that was making those comments to other people. And I'm not going to say I'm innocent of that either. I'm not perfect. And I feel like as I've gotten older, I've tried to become better. And that's what I try to do every single day, is just be better. I had a situation this week outside of the one I'm going to speak of, that I felt like I had just been a really crappy friend. There's no other word than that. Because I had let just life surround me to the point where I didn't take someone else's heart to mind. And I felt like a crappy friend. And I stopped myself and I said, just be better. Just do better. Do something to be better. And so it was something that hit me pretty hard this week. But anyway, it's not about me. So this situation happened, and what I think happened was this. Now, here's what I had planned to do, Fawn, and I will tell you this. I was going to come on here and I was going to do something really strange to my hair, or wear some funky, I don't know, outfit, or fake piercing or something, just to see if I could get a reaction out of you. Something that that I wouldn't normally do. And I think when these situations happen, like the one that happened just this week, and in the situations where people are bullied, people don't know what to do or how to react to something that's different. And so one of the reactions is not the best reaction. Like,
Absolutely.
it could be they laugh, or they say something like, you know, I was listening to a podcast just recently, and I will bring this into the fold, because, you know, we're always talking about educating ourselves, listening to podcasts, reading books. And there was one that I was talking about where this gentleman, and when he was younger in his teenage years, was defending somebody who had been called a name, and he was stabbed in the face with a knife. And so, of course, as you can imagine, it left horrific scars on one side of his face. It caused paralysis. So his face didn't look like the rest of us. And he was saying on this podcast how he remembers people saying to him all the time, dude, what's wrong with your face? Like, they just came right up to him and said that. And I was like, I can't imagine ever just blurting that out to someone. And so what I thought was, in that instant, I'm sure those people didn't mean harm by it. I'm sure that they just didn't know what to do or how to react or what to say. And I guess the reason why I wanted to talk about this tonight is the only way we can help our kids to be better at that is to have the conversation with them, to have the conversation about acceptance and what it means to be different. And if somebody's born looking a certain way, doesn't mean that they're any less of a person. And so we had this conversation at school, and I had several students that were just shaking their head and shaking their head. And, you know, I was asking them, well, what, you know, why are you shaking your head? What are you feeling? And a couple of them are like, it's just not right. It's just not right. And I was happy about that. I was happy that they could feel, even at their tender age, that what happened wasn't right. But somewhere along the line of 8 to 28 to 48, that seems to change. And so I don't know. I don't know if you have ever had a situation that's happened in your practice, or that you can think of that.
Well, with me, I mean, a lot of people, and I don't even know necessarily that you know this much, but
Mm-hmm.
I have a little brother that has cerebral palsy. And so I myself, he's 3 years younger than me. And so I think I've seen it from both sides. So I myself, having been with him my entire life, and he's walking, talking, but he's, you know, got a younger mentality. But everybody loves him. I mean, I go to Walmart and everybody knows my brother, not me. So I am just Dusty's sister.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that it helped me to just understand more of how to deal with people that are different than a lot of people do, because they're not exposed to that. Like, so me having been exposed to that all my life, like you said, when younger kids, if they're not exposed to it often enough, maybe they aren't. You're right. The parents might not know, one, that they're even supposed to have a conversation with them, because if it doesn't come up in front of the parents, they don't know better to say, hey, we should talk about what happens when you see people that are different, or encounter them. But two, they're right. Then you're going to have two different kinds. You're going to have the ones like that say, okay, I should be compassionate and learn about this person. And then you've got the other ones that, and when they're younger, they have no other option other than to maybe laugh or laugh it off because they're uncomfortable. And then that's just their reaction, but that's not bad.
Right.
It's just they haven't learned. So, but I've also, growing up with my brother, I've seen those people, and it makes you instantly angry when you see people that react the wrong way. But thinking on it now, I just know they probably never knew how to experience or interact with somebody so drastically different than them.
Right.
And,
sorry.
So I think
sorry.
It's just
things are falling all over.
Problems.
Gravity's happening here. Yeah.
So,
okay.
So my biggest thing is, you know, we have, because there are so many different people nowadays. There are different flavors of humans in all different ways, shapes, or forms. And so, kids are. I say kids because you're right. We learn it from kids, from being a child up to watching how adults treat people. But, you know, we just have to be aware that they're going to encounter different people. And I think it is a good first thought to have the conversation with your children about what to do when you do encounter somebody different. And maybe that will help, because before they actually do encounter the situation. Make sense? So
yes, that makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And of course, we can't prepare them for everything. I mean, we could play the what if game in any situation for, you know, hours upon end, because I've been in those conversations with students when we do like a fire drill, and it was like, well, what if this happens? And it goes on and on and on. One thing I do recommend, and I know I came on here, it's been a while, to talk about a movie that I went to see recently, and it was called Wonder. And actually one of my students even brought that up. Now, I read the story, I've read it. Oh my goodness. I used to read it to my 5th graders every school year. And it is a wonderful book about acceptance. And it was, one of the, I don't know if it was a tagline or whether it was just one of the promotional things that they had for the movie. And instead of saying, don't judge a book by its cover, it said, don't judge a boy by his face, because he had, the boy in Wonder has a physical deformity on his face. And so it's a wonderful story. I recommend it highly to parents to read the story, not just go see the movie. Because the movie is as great as it was, because I always get nervous about going and seeing a reproduction, you know, a Hollywood production of a book that I love. And Wonder, the book, he's going into 5th grade. So, I mean, you have to think about your child, their maturity level when you read the story to them. But it is probably one of the best books I have ever read as far as children's literature in my lifetime. I mean, it just hit home on so many levels. The way the parents, that they treated their son who had this issue, and then, you know, how the school treated him, how the kids treated him, how other parents were role models for their kids, and how they treated him it was just an amazing story. And so I have the copy somewhere. I don't know where it is, Rick. I was trying to find it really quickly. I have a bookshelf sitting here, and of course that one isn't on there. But it is a really, really good story. And I think the other part of this whole thing is, when you do see someone that looks different, acts different, sounds different, whatever the case may be, is to maybe just stop for a moment and think about what their story might be. And would it be harmful for you to just ask the question, to have a conversation with that person? I mean, not be, you know, up in their face and rude about it, but could you have said, you know, I'm really curious, you sound different than I do. Could you explain that? I mean, that to me is not harmful. That to me is maybe showing that person that they are, you know, exactly what they are, curious, that they, you know, want to learn more about that and want to be accepting. And I don't know. I was growing up in where I grew up. There wasn't many students that were different. And I guess in the area that I grew up, they weren't in public schools with us, which is a shame, because I've taught in a public school where we're surrounded by students that are different for many, many, many different reasons. And I think it makes kids more aware and more accepting in that respect. I don't know. I mean, you've had that situation, you've lived that story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, and you're right. I'm right there with you. Like, I remember when I was in school, like, we didn't have that many different people around, but now it's just, that's the kind of the cool thing is that we are so diverse now. And, but at the same time, there are still people that aren't used to that experience, and it can go either way. And, you know, we always talk about the bullying aspect of things. And, you know, in schools, like, I actually did some research, and it's pretty sad. I mean, it talks about how bullying affects everybody, not just the person bullied, but the person who is bullying is obviously bullying for a reason. And it actually has a really negative impact on all the people that see it, because it you know,
Yeah.
they're torn. Like, do they want to join the bully? Do they want to defend the poor person being bullied? And some people just sit back and hope that they don't get bullied. And it's just, you know, I love your shirt. Like, it's more love, like
Yeah.
more
More
love,
love.
less hate.
Yeah. Yep.
If
Just
we could
more
just
love.
learn to be more
Here.
accepting of everybody that's
I don't
different.
even like that word on my shirt. Just say, you know, yeah. And I actually,
Yeah, just more love.
this was a fundraiser. I have a friend that lives in Florida. There was, and I know I can't remember the situation now exactly. I think there was a shooting. I think it was last year or the year before. There was a shooting at a nightclub, and it was just horrific. And so one of my friends who lived there in the area was selling these T-shirts to raise money for the families. And so it was just one of those things. I'm like, well, yeah, who wouldn't want to contribute to that? So I just felt it was really fitting for tonight's conversation about acceptance, and you know, just reaching out and taking some time to talk to your kids, even if it's, you know, I even told some of my kids, you know, to say stuff, to ask their parents, just to ask them the conversation, you know, have a conversation about it. And I think that's okay too. I don't think it always has to come from the parent. I think it's great when the kids are so aware of that and if they feel uncomfortable, that it's okay to say that they're uncomfortable and don't know what to do. And so that we all work together just to have more love in our lives and in our communities.
And we should also look at the other aspect of it too. Like, so if you are the person that is the unique person or the different person, that's all the more reason to start to, you got to turn it around, and you got to learn to accept yourself first. Because once you're comfortable with yourself, then all that other stuff, it might not influence you as much. Like, if you let other people's opinions influence how you feel about yourself, well, then that itself is gonna really throw you for a loop. But if you work on yourself first, and that's Lori and I's kind of motto, you work on your own headspace and your own self and your own being. And once you get yourself comfortable with yourself and confident in yourself, and knowing that we don't all have to be the same and we can all be different in our own awesome way, then it just sets you out to be more bulletproof when it comes to the world too. So don't forget to think of it the other way around as well. If you are the one that might not be accepted sometimes, or find it difficult to be in public, worrying that people may or may not understand you, then just, you know, don't worry about it's all about yourself, your own self, and your own self-worth, and what you think of yourself first. And then, you know, everything else just comes with that.
It kind of just falls in line then too. That was very true. Actually, I thought about that earlier, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I probably would have forgotten it. It is, and it's on both, right. It's both. Yes. It was just a conversation tonight. And I think it goes on both sides. You're right. I mean, everybody, I think a lot of times, well, my sister said this to me once, and I really had to think about it. She said, hurt people hurt people. And I was like, huh? And then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah. And that's hard to hear sometimes. But if you stop and you think about somebody else's story, if you are the person that is working on yourself too and trying to be better, that, I mean, I know it sounds kind of Pollyanna, but, you know, if we all just take a moment, take a breath, stop in our tracks, and just think, wow, I wonder what that person's story is. Or here's my story, and I'm not ready to share it with anyone, but I want to carry myself to let people know that I'm okay with me. And I don't care what you say or what opinion you might have of you. I'm okay in my own skin. So anyway, I don't know if there's anything else that, I'm so glad it didn't turn into like people coming on here and doing this whole political thing, because that's not where I wanted to go. Because I'm not that kind of person. I don't get deeply involved in a political rant or conversation. I don't think it's productive. So I guess, you know, part of this is just to start the conversation about trying to be more accepting of people, even no matter what they look like, no matter what gender, what orientation, whatever, just accept them for the person that they are, their uniqueness, and in turn, you have to look back and start accepting who you are. And I think that's where it all lies, for the most part, in the accepting of yourself. Because once you accept who you are, then it doesn't really matter what other people have to say. I don't know.
I agree. 100%.
Sound good? Okay. And I want to leave with one quote that came, and that's probably, it's been all over Facebook. It's been all over when Wonder came out, but it's one of the first things that you read in the book. There's a teacher in the book that tries to teach the students about basically acceptance, and he's always giving them a quote to think about. So a quote of the day, or it was a quote of the month that they had to read and then put in a journal and put their thoughts in. And when this movie came out, Wonder, this was one of the things that you'll see. There's Choose Kind t-shirts you'll see all over with, who was it? Julia Roberts, which is one of my favorite actresses. She was the mom in the movie. But anyway, the quote that was right at the very beginning of the story, and it just stuck with me the whole entire time I read the book, was, when given the choice between being right or being kind, choose kind.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. I did write that down. That was the only thing I had written down. I wanted to make sure I didn't misquote it. So, well, thank you, Dr. Fawn, for coming in again tonight. As always, guys, if you have any topics that you would like for us to talk about when we come in on Wednesdays, we accept them wholeheartedly, because we want to make sure that we're giving you something of value, not just something that we really like and we really want to talk about. But if it's something that you, and it can be about anything, nutrition, fitness, we'll research it. I mean, we've researched a lot of things that we weren't familiar with over the last, we've been doing this for almost a year, I think.
I think it's been a long time.
I know. Yeah. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. And I didn't answer your...
Which means we're really depleted for ideas, so we need some.
So we really, yes, we need, and don't think it's a silly idea. I don't think any ideas are silly. We'll find a spin that works. If it absolutely is. So, but as always, guys, if you feel that this conversation that we had tonight is useful for anyone, please do us a favor. Part of our mission is want to help people, as many people as possible, just become happier and healthier. And you can have a part in that by just sharing our video on your page. But don't just share it. Say something that maybe that you liked about what we said, or maybe just kind of give it a little, I don't even know, like an intro, or just share it with friends and family that could benefit. And we would appreciate that, because that's part of our mission, is just to do that. All right. Yep. Thank you, Dr. Fawn. I hope you had a great Wednesday. A day off, right?
Same for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever that is. Day off.
I know. Day off. All right. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Watching, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye.